Good afternoon, everyone, and good afternoon, Middleborough, Massachusetts, and vicinity. My name is Harrison Young. This is my TV show Topic Time. So as I often do it, as I've done many times in the past 10 years, I'm welcoming myself and my show to a new town, and have no complaints yet. Everybody seems to love the show wherever I bring it, and there should be no exception. And I'm starting a new show tonight here in Middleborough, like I said, and before I get to it, the guest is a really cool guy. I'm going to read the underwriters, and he pertains to the very first one I have here because he's the CEO of Crazy Axes Recreation Center in Hanover. This is the gentleman here that is the CEO. This is David Kolakowski. We also have the Natural Born Fools musical group in Kingston, and the Crazy Axes is in Hanover, as I said. We got good old Dave's Automotive in Hanson. We got Nick's Pit Stop in Abington. We got Kingston Auto Body in Kingston. We got Wicked Healthy Natural Foods in Kingston. We got MDI Auto Brokers and Repair in Whitman, home of the fully certified used car. And we got Barnacote Monuments right here in Middleborough. I want to thank you guys very much. And on that note, now I will introduce this incredible guest, David Kolakowski. He's the CEO of Crazy Axes in Hanover, the recreation center. And he's never has an axe to grind. He's a very gentle person, even though, as you can see, he's got a bunch of weapons, potential weapons in front of him. He's just here to demonstrate them as a game and a sport, because that's what axe wielding is. And before we start and talk about that, I want to thank David for coming in and being on my show tonight. David, thank you very much, and especially on such short notice.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure to be here tonight. I'm looking forward to a very informative show tonight.
Okay, of course it will be. All right, well, like I do with all my guests, first I break down their situation, try to find out, profile them, what they were like growing up, and how, and how it kind of got them to where they're at now. And then we talk about what their game is, or in this case, their sport, or their angle, or there's whatever the situation happens to be, profession, livelihood, whatever. So tell me about, where you grew up and what you did as a kid and how it got you where you're at now. If I have any questions, I'll throw them in. Go ahead.
Sure. So I'm 41 years old this year.
Congratulations.
I grew up born and raised in Dorchester in the Polish Triangle. Kulikowski is a
What is exactly
Polish
the Polish
background.
Triangle? That's just the Polish neighborhood in Dorchester?
Yep.
Cool.
Yep.
Okay.
So grew up parochial school for the first 5 grades, 10 years of my life.
A lot of welts on your arms to prove that, but I think you've washed most of them off.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. Yep. Had my fair share of run-ins with the nuns.
Yep.
My family moved to Whitman back in the 90s. Went to Whitman Hanson Regional High School, graduated in 97.
Yep.
Bounced around quite a bit. Went to Rochester Institute of Technology out in New York as part of the National Technical Institute for the Deaf. Not knowing that, you wouldn't expect to know that I'm actually bilaterally hard of hearing, borderline deaf.
Okay.
I finished up in college out there, decided it wasn't for me, came home, worked a bunch of different oddball jobs. Finally, after getting into the Carpenters Union, decided that I wanted to be more involved in construction, went to Wentworth Institute of Technology, majored in construction management, have held a couple of really great jobs with some really amazing companies as project managers, running million-dollar projects. Have had a blast with it, loved it.
Okay. What kind of projects? Just building like strip malls, houses, both?
A lot of commercial stuff, believe it or not. Yeah, so a lot of commercial stuff. I love doing
condos.
home renovations, but commercial is kind of where it's at. So.
Okay, cool. All right. So go on.
So went from there. Kind of decided that as my midlife crisis, I guess, if you will, decided that I wanted to try my hand at my own business.
Okay.
Kind of decided on axe throwing as an opportunity after having a chance to go up and visit an old college roommate of mine in Toronto.
Okay.
We got to go out to a place called Battle, Backyard Axe Throwing League, and threw my first axe, couldn't stick it to the board to save my life, but was almost instantly in love with it.
And this was what, 2 years ago?
This was 2 years ago in 2018, correct. Had a chance to talk to the owner while I was there. He gave me a really good head start on a lot of the ins and outs of the business, contacts for who to get in touch with for various aspects and suppliers and so on and so forth. Got the ball rolling, made a little detour during some personal midlife stuff, and then 2019 we decided to go full bore with it. I am partnered in the business with both my sister and my father.
Yep.
Who
I met your
without their
sister.
help,
She's a real nice girl.
Yeah, without their help, Crazy Axes would not exist.
Okay.
So I'm immensely thankful to their assistance with me. And yeah, now we started out on a mobile application, meaning we would bring all of our targets, our axes, and fencing to different various locations. We were set up along the South Shore. A couple of big opportunities that we got were the Glint Festival last year down in Plymouth, Cordage Park.
Yep.
Matt Glint's son was killed in a horrible car accident, and they host an annual music festival. We got to set up with them down there and had an absolute blast, met the family. They're a wonderful group of people. We also got to go down to Untold Brewery for their 2nd year anniversary in Scituate, and again, had a great afternoon down there.
Okay.
A lot of people throwing. And we decided we needed a little bit more control over the weather and not be dragging fencing all around and be able to enjoy the sport year round.
Well, right now your location is in Hanover on Columbia Road, is it?
Yep.
So were you actually always, you were actually like a portable company for a while without a location, without a set location until recently?
So we opened our new location in Hanover. We opened up right before Thanksgiving 2019.
Okay, yeah, it was pretty recent.
And then we've been there since.
What were you before that is what I'm asking. Were you just like a road show all the way? Didn't have a set location?
We didn't have a set location.
Wow.
Correct. We were mobile. We were operating out of home, and then we just towed the trailer and the fencing and the material where we needed to go. So.
And you got a great location now, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. We're right in Hanover, right on 228 Hanover.
228 Columbia Road. Got the address
Hanover.
right here.
Yeah, exactly. Right on the main street, right up the street from.
You sure 228 or 288?
228 Columbia Road.
Glad you told me. I'll have to.
Oh.
Okay.
So we have 16 targets available in our space indoors. We just reopened this past week after 3 months of downtime, obviously because of all the shutdowns.
Right.
We are opening at 40% capacity right now, which means we only are allowing 6 targets in use at the time, which allows me to have every
6
other
feet of
bay
space, like
empty.
we're doing here. Yep.
Yep, we take all the necessary precautions, deeply sanitize all of the axes and lanes and everything that's high touch surfaces. And we've had a number of people in already, and everybody's back to kind of
I've been in there and
getting
I've
back
seen,
into some sense of normalcy.
I've been in there on like Saturday afternoons, and you got a flood of people, and that's the way it should be, and it looks fun. Even have a nice dog there that greets people as you walk in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, okay.
We have our front desk that was we did some additional renovations and upgrades too. So we have new plexiglass shields there when you come in. Most of our stuff is all done online through our website.
Yep.
So you can book and make all your payments, sign all of your waivers. Everything is all done online now.
Okay, now let's talk about the sport of axe wielding. Tell me about the history of it, and you brought a bunch of axes. They're all like different sizes and shapes. Try to explain, if you can, each one and how it functions in the sport. And if I have any questions, I'll throw them in again.
Yeah, so I'll start off with simple explanation. Axe throwing has been around since probably the Bronze Age.
Yeah, Bronze Age. There you go.
They do get a bad rap as weapons. They are tools.
Right.
They're primarily used in camping, forestry purposes, and now they've been brought into the sport of axe throwing.
Right, okay.
And no different than throwing darts. It's a lot of fun and probably a little bit more exciting to throw a kind of hatchet at a board than it is to throw a tiny little dart. Just that's my opinion.
I understand.
No offense to anybody out there.
Well, you're talking to someone who actually got a bullseye on a dartboard in Scotland once, but nobody was around to see it. So what fun was it except that I could tell everybody and they might not even believe me. I was in the 44th floor of, I was in the 3rd floor of a 44-story townhouse in Edinburgh, and I was staying at the home of these people that were putting me up for the night for changing a flat tire, and I had a dart in my hand, and there was a board, and I threw it, and I swear it landed right in the middle, and I said, I got a bullseye, and all the other people were downstairs, and nobody even saw it. And even if I left it there, they could have said, oh, he just put it there, he just stuck it in deliberately to make it think we got a bullseye, but I really got one. Now, that having been said, darts are all the same pretty much in size, but you got different size axes there and shapes. Why is that?
Yeah, so these are my personal hatchets that I throw first off.
Okay.
And there's 2 governing bodies of axe throwing. So we are affiliated with the WATL, which is the World Axe Throwing League.
Okay.
Which has a 12-foot fault line. We get to throw basically from a standstill location.
Right.
You're basically holding on to your axe, typically one hand, axe comes straight back to the side of your head, and then you give it a good throw right at that target.
Okay.
There's another group of that has a different variation of axe throwing, different scoring points, different throw styles. It's called the IATF, which is the International Axe Throwing Federation. That one is more of a, there's two-step. There's a back step line that one of your feet must be behind. So typically I throw with a little bit of a longer hatchet, such as this one here. That gives me the ability to stand a little bit further back, step into my throw, and then throw my axe at the board.
Okay, interesting. Now, it looks to me, now I've noticed that you had a lot of small children that patronize your business. Now, obviously, I'm looking at that axe right there, the farthest one on the left, and I can't see any child under the age of maybe 11 holding that one or trying to throw that.
No, you're absolutely
pretty
right.
large, you know.
Yeah, so this is what we refer to as the big axe. This is an actual axe. This is allowed to be thrown in both organizations as in league formats.
Yep.
So again, same deal. This is my personal throwing style. So it's basically I hold that axe, I bring it kind of back to the side of my head, and then I'm aiming for that target for that bullseye.
Cool.
We definitely would not allow anybody younger than 18 to throw this. It does require a lot of upper body strength, whether it's one hand or two hand throw style.
Yep.
To the point of a lot of youngsters around our shops, we do allow kids ages 9+, since neither governing body recognizes the bottom age. We've had kids as young as 6 come by and throw with us, obviously with parental consent. We were at an event back in January.
Both male and female. Girls like it too.
Oh yeah, we hosted a birthday party for a group of young ladies, 10th birthday party. They came in.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
We kind of kept having to corral them because they kept running up trying to want to throw axes. They kept cutting in line and they wanted to throw, and it was fun. It was a blast. And we are fortunate to be in a sport where there's, anybody can do it.
Yeah.
We've had kids as young as 6 years old. We were at an event. I had a gentleman that came over. His son was really excited, wanted to try throwing. I told him, 6 years tends to be a little young. They tend to have a little bit of difficulty with the strength and the upper body control. He asked if it'd be okay. I gave the kid a try, worked with him for a little bit, threw about 10 throws. On the 11th or 12th throw, everything finally kind of clicked. He managed to throw it, hit the bullseye, and I don't know who was excited he or me.
You or him. Well, what about, now you told me before that you had a few coaches that you hired to help the kids, especially the kids, but anybody that takes up the sport to get better at it.
Yeah, so that's...
How many do you have working there now?
So we have a staff of 13 coaches right now.
Wow.
And they are the reason that we are a success. If it wasn't for those guys and gals, I'd be running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
No pun intended.
So when you come into Crazy Axes, we welcome you, we greet you, we send you out back to your lane, and we have a dedicated coach that will come up, give you a safety overview, how to properly handle the axe, how to hold the axe. And basically it's something like this. You start out with the axe. Number one rule for axe throwing is you don't want to break your wrist.
Yep.
We don't want the wrist breaking forward nor side to side. Arm starts out basically in a horizontal position, axe is vertical. You bring the axe straight back to the side of your head and you throw following through right into the board. Now we do have some people that have upper mobility issues, maybe some tightness or injuries to their shoulders. We can do a two-hand method, which is, in my case, I hold the axe in my non-dominant hand, my left hand, right hand right above that. The axe goes straight over your head and it comes right out of your head and straight ahead where you release it, and it rotates once, end over end, and hits the board.
Wow. That's like when a bartender flips a bottle before he serves a drink. But as I'm sitting here, I got to ask you too, and I know it sounds like a little far out of a question, but I'm sitting here looking at all these, these axes and realizing the motions that the people using them go through. And I can't help but wonder if people, let's say, have little bursitis or arthritis, can get some physical therapy benefit from using these. I mean, only because sometimes a part of the body which is brittle can benefit from a little bit of stimulation. It's something holding an axe could be stimulating without actually being too straining on a body part, assuming it wasn't too large.
Agreed.
Yeah, I'm wondering if you've ever had people tell you that. I would think that would be the case, possibly, but that's just that's just looking at them, and I'm thinking outside the box. But you're the expert on the axe situation here.
Yeah, and it's an interesting point. We've definitely had a couple of folks that have come into our venue that have thrown axes that were not in the healthiest form.
Yeah.
I remember one lady we had been recently in a car accident. She had some serious mobility issues. We were able to kind of set her up where she was holding on to the cage on the side. I'd worked with her personally. I reassured her with some past medical training that I had in my past history.
Interesting, cool.
I reassured her that I would not let her get hurt. We had some of our smaller house axes, which are a little lighter, and she was able to throw. She was thrown for quite a bit of time, but we finally landed her into the board, and she broke down crying. She was really excited
That's
to
awesome.
be able to do it.
That's great.
So
it does sort of have a healing benefit too.
Yeah, I think everybody gets that sense of pride and accomplishment when they land their first axe, whether it's in the bullseye or just get it into the board. Everybody tends to get a little excited.
The Hall of Fame Red Sox catcher Carlton Fisk before he had a baseball bat in his hand, he had an axe. He's chopping trees down in Keene, New Hampshire.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. We've had ages from as young as 6 all the way up, and one case that comes to mind, we had a family that came in, aged ranges from I think it was a 9-year-old young boy all the way up to their grandfather who was in his 70s, had his walker. My father had the opportunity to work with them. We got video of the young lad throwing his axe, getting into the board, and then right next to it we had his grandfather throw the axe, and he was hitting the board.
It's awesome.
So it is. It's a sport that's meant to be safe and fun, and it gets a bad rap right now. A lot of people think that all those videos you see online are what happened in real
this is
life.
what I was going to get to. Talk about some of the tournaments that are involved. You told me that you had some. You yourself were involved in some international tournaments thanks to the virtual reality things that are going on now, or the virtual imaging.
One of the silver linings about everything that's been shut down is some innovative guys that work for one of the axe houses up in Canada.
Yep.
They decided they didn't want to sit around for any extended period of time without throwing axes, so they developed this virtual league called the Quarantine Axe Throwing League, the QATL, or QATL as we call it. So what we did is these gentlemen, Mike Morton, Gavin Casey, and Tristan Ledbury, sorry Tristan if I butchered your name, along with the WATL reps, they created this event where we get match assignments on Monday, 4 matches every week, and we individually reach out to our partners or our matches by Facebook, Instagram, email, texting, whatever methodology. We agree on a date and a time to throw. We set up our cameras, just pretty much like we're set up here today, throw it on a live feed or on a video conference call, and we throw axes.
That's awesome.
It shows that not everything, or a lot of stuff can be done virtually.
It's true.
So
now you've since opened your shop is your store is still, what do we call it? Your center is reopened, correct? Since phase 3.
Yep.
Oh, good. Okay.
We've been reopened now for about a week.
You have? Okay.
Our booking system is back up and online. We also have our mobile axe throwing unit, which is available for private parties at people's homes and different venues and such. We're excited to be getting back into the business.
Get it excited? Got it. Love it.
We're very excited.
Don't have an axe to grind either.
Nope, no axes to grind for me. Nope, just the ones that you see on my table.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. Are there any tournaments that we can watch on ESPN or any of the sports networks?
Yeah, so that's the really cool thing is that the WATL does have a partnership with ESPN. The 2019 World Axe Throwing Championships were broadcast back in December on ESPN, and they've been repeating it. It's pretty much now my new objective in life is to get qualified for a world championship bid and throw at the 2020 World Champions if we do in fact have them this year.
Okay.
One of the things we're excited to be working with is we are going to be developing a local tournament here at Crazy Axes.
Okay.
That people are going to be able to come in, pay a fee, they'll get some practice throws, what we call seeding, and then we'll match people up based on their throwing capabilities, and we're going to have a tournament. And you're going to throw all day long as you're throwing well. Once you're out, you go into an underdog bracket, and once you're out in that bracket, you'll be watching and cheering on everybody else.
That's awesome. Okay. And so where were these matches held? Where were the matches held that were I assume they were like the World Championships of axe wielding from last year in December before the thing hits. What was that? What was
the one in December was held down in Tucson, Arizona.
Okay.
At I'm going to probably butcher this because I'm not sure.
Well, it's okay. You said Tucson.
I think the facility's name was Splitting Timbers in Tucson, Arizona.
There you go.
I actually had a match against one of the owners of the facility, AJ Hughes. Fantastic woman, awesome thrower. We didn't actually get to throw live against each other. We threw what was called a ghost match. We both threw on separate times, recorded it, and then posted it to the group online so that the scores could be validated.
Wow, that's incredible.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. Okay, so now you said you're going to be shooting at axes against the guy in Ireland. Anywhere else in the world? Or was it...
Yeah, so that's the beautiful thing about Quarantine Axe Throwing League is that we have throwers from all over the world. A couple weeks ago, I threw against a gentleman in Ireland. I threw about noontime here, which was about 6 o'clock.
6 hours later, yeah, I know. I've been in
Ireland. I think I might have had a slight advantage there because it's midday for me. I had not tapped into my first beer yet, whereas it was after hours for him. He probably had a beer or two over there.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to throw well enough to take a victory that evening.
Okay.
I do have another match that I'm paired up against this week. I've reached out to the gentleman. We'll see when we get that scheduled, and we'll be ready to throw some axes this week.
Wow, that's awesome. Okay, so you're pretty busy with it's almost like it's daily, every single day. Are you open every single day for the?
Yeah, right now we're open Monday
axes?
through Fridays, 5 to 9.
Okay.
Fridays we'll work and extend it a little till 10 o'clock. Saturdays we're open noon until 11.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's a long day.
And Sundays 12 to 7.
Yeah.
And then we do have availability during the week in the daytime. If anybody wants to come in, give us a call in our shop.
Yep. Now you set up appointments for axe, for, like you said, birthday parties for that 10-year-old girl. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. We have private parties. Corporate events when we get back to those.
Wow.
Yeah.
Corporate events. That must be awesome. I mean, there must be a lot of people that take advantage of that.
Yeah, we had the Whitman VCA, the veterinary clinic in Whitman, came in with their staff right before everything shut down.
Yeah,
and
wow.
They had a blast. We had a couple of the other VCAs called us about wanting to come in and host theirs after they
What are
found out.
VCAs exactly?
The VCAs are the veterinary
clinics.
Clinics,
okay.
yeah, they're in various towns. Whitman was the one that came in, and then Weymouth called, Abingdon, and whoever else, everybody else started calling. That's
awesome. So have you ever got any press coverage yourself for the for doing this before the show, or I'm just wondering, is this the first time?
We had a nice article written about us in the Enterprise.
Okay.
We did have
Boston Enterprise.
Yep, we had a Boston Globe article that came in that wrote a story about us. I don't recall seeing that, but I think it's out there.
Okay.
We have our website presence, www.crazy-axes.com.
Okay.
Any questions that you ever have, you're always able to call the shop and talk to either myself or my sister. The number you can reach us at is 781-924-1368.
That's great.
That's a lot of numbers.
Okay, so now that you're back, how has business been since you got back? It's probably going to start a little slow.
Yeah, it's definitely been a little slower than we were even anticipating. I know that there's a lot of
anxiety,
hesitation still.
Yeah.
But I'd like to reassure people that we are taking every precaution.
Yep.
Social distancing. Making sure that everything is clean and sanitary.
Right.
And we're doing our best to keep everybody safe.
Okay. All right. Just curious. Now you look like you like an athletic guy. Did you do any other sports growing up?
I did. I played soccer through high school into the early part of my college career.
You say you had some medical training too in college, right?
I'm sorry.
You said you had some medical training in college.
Post medical, I was post college. I worked as an EMT for about 5 years. So.
Well, did you have to go to school for that?
I did. I got my certification through Northeastern University.
Okay, EMT meaning like first responder?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Well, guess what? We're down to the final 5 minutes of the show, and so
that's awesome.
we made it work. So what I want you to do in the remaining time we have, I mean, you have a lot of people that the good ties with and everything that are part of your life or whatever, part of the axing industry. So look at the camera, give shouts out to people that are going to see the show, because a lot of them are, and then we'll wrap it up.
So we have a great group of people here in Massachusetts. There's actually a Facebook group online called Massachusetts, ironically.
Yep, there you go.
The group there, they're a great group of people. I really got a lot of support and help from them. There's a show that I had a little skit. Well, it wasn't a skit. I got a spot on last week because of my dry sense of humor.
You got it on which?
And my dashing good looks. Sorry,
Wait a minute. Talk about which. Say it again. You got a spot on which?
There's a show that a gentleman here in Massachusetts runs with a guy out in Ohio called The Throwdown.
Okay, a TV show?
It's a weekly throwdown, a weekly show on Facebook that they talk everything axes.
Okay.
They show some axe events through the week. They both just got back from an event in Des Moines, Iowa,
Cool.
called the Ironside Axe Tournament.
Yep.
So tonight they are on 7:30, right on the live feed on Facebook. The
Cool.
Throwdown.
There you go.
Check it out. It's a lot of fun. And I am dashingly much better looking than Shane. Sorry, Shane. Even with the stash, buddy.
I don't have beautiful girls I have good looking dudes too.
I'm sorry.
I don't just have beautiful girls on my show, which I would have had if the model hadn't had to sign with the agency. I have decent looking dudes too.
I'll see.
I have to, because look how
What
I
can I
look.
say?
You got to have somebody good looking on just to offset me. Hey, what the heck? You can't berate yourself. Who can you berate? That in itself is a sport that should be given world domination.
There you go.
Okay. So we're going forward now that you opened up. I guess, are you going to be participating in any big tournaments yourself, but hopefully getting a little more TV news coverage?
Yeah, that's absolutely the plan. We have found out that the World Axe Throwing League has unfortunately canceled one of the biggest tournaments, which is the U.S. Open.
Yeah.
Draws hundreds of throwers from all over the country and all over the world.
Right.
They are instead, again, one of the minor silver linings is they are going to be looking to do more regional events. And those regional events potentially will have opportunities for world championship bids. So if you come into our axe tournament, you win it, you will potentially have an opportunity to be invited through their bid to go and throw in the world championships for world championship prize and recognition. So come on down to Crazy Axes, get some practice on, and who knows, maybe you'll be on ESPN throwing in the world championships.
That's the idea. All right, well, listen, David, I hope you had fun with me tonight. We've been friends for a while, and I was finally glad to get you in here. And you've educated me on axe throwing like I've never been before.
Yeah.
And I expect a lot of people are going to find this as thrilling as I did.
Yeah, I hope
Okay.
so too.
All
And maybe
right.
we'll get a skit of Harrison throwing some axes for the next show.
Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. Yeah, you want to talk about staying safe, you better make sure there are no living creatures within 40 feet of me, because I miss like crazy. I'm not, and I don't drink either, by the way, not anymore. So, all right. Well, on that note, we're going to wrap the show up. You ready to jiggy with it at the end as we did at the beginning? All right, folks. Again, thanks for welcoming me to Middleborough, Mass. Hopefully more great shows in your hometown of this lovely town of Middleborough that was founded in the 1600s, I believe, and probably the oldest town I've ever had topic time in. And on that note, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks for watching. See you next time. Take care.
Have an excellent week, everybody.
That's right.